in my house, my kids squabble just like anybody's kids, and so there are these moments when they get into it a little bit and somebody pushes somebody or somebody hits somebody or somebody takes something that someone else wants or someone pushes someone down the stairs, just little stuff like that. And there are these moments in those moments where you realize, like, I have to intervene because, A, I need to keep my kids safe, but there's also this terrifying moment where you realize, like, and I have to shape their character, like there's some work to be done here as I shape their character. And one of the things you want them to know is how to say I'm sorry and how to offer forgiveness. And so you intervene in the situation and you say, like, hey, you need to tell your brother or your sister that you're sorry. And it starts with, like, but they were and then you're like, no, I don't care about that. Like, I just want you to say I'm sorry. That's all I'm asking for. And so I'm sorry. You're like, no, you got to say it like you mean it. At least pretend. And when you can finally get that to happen, then you say to the other child, like, now you say, I forgive you. When Hunter says, I'm sorry to his sister looks and goes, I forgive you. She like whispers it, I forgive you. And you're like, Kylie, say, tell your brother you forgive him. I did. No, you didn't. You didn't, like, she's very dramatic. When Hunter has to say, I forgive you, he does one of two things. Kylie will say, Hunter, I'm sorry. And he'll use his monster voice and he'll go, I forgive you. Or more likely, he'll be sitting at the table driving some cars, and he'll just drive his cars. Won't look up, won't acknowledge it, will just drive his cars. Stop, look up, go back to driving his cars. He just pretends like it's not even out there. I'm afraid when it comes to forgiveness, sometimes we spend a lot of time driving our cars around, because we know that forgiveness is this beautiful, life-changing thing as long as we don't have to do it. Forgiveness is not optional for us as people of faith, because unforgiveness, anger, bitterness, and hurt poses a direct barrier between us and God. And it breaks us down in a painful way. There are incredible stories of forgiveness in our culture. This week I was reminded, as we think about this tragic shooting in Texas, I was reminded of a shooting that took place in 2006 in central Pennsylvania in a little one-room schoolhouse. It was an Amish schoolhouse. And a local man came in and held them hostage and eventually shot 10 girls and killed 5 of them. This bucolic, beautiful, peaceful little community was rocked to its core. And that evening, people gathered across the community to mourn and grieve. The family of the man who had committed the murders and eventually was killed gathered to mourn and grieve. And as they did so, members from the Amish community began to come to them and to say, we forgive you. We forgive you. And it was reported that more members of the Amish community showed up at his funeral than did members of his family. That is a stunning story of forgiveness, of people who are able to move beyond the immediate hurt and pain and realize that something better lies on the other side. But I'm afraid when we tell those stories, we begin to think that forgiveness is something that is extraordinary, that only special people do. Forgiveness is for all of us, because we all carry hurt. We all carry struggle. We all carry grief. And to offer forgiveness is the most powerful way we can move forward. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Over and over again, we hear people say, forgive and forget, right? Move on, get on with your life, it's over, it's done, forgive and forget. Forgiveness is not forgetting. There are things that have happened to us, circumstances we've encountered that continue and will continue to give shape to our lives. The life that we have lived continues to shape our experience. But know this, God works all things for good. That is a promise that we cling to, even in the most difficult moments. God works all things for good. And God can even redeem the hurt and the pain and the loss we have experienced. It doesn't mean that it goes away. It means that God works and God redeems it. Forgiveness doesn't simply mean we put that aside. It doesn't mean that justice and fairness are not considered. It means that we begin the process of living a different life. I'll be honest with you. As I prepared to preach this weekend and thought about forgiveness, I became keenly aware of the people in my life I needed to forgive. And maybe as you've heard the words I've shared this morning, you have too. Today's a good day to start. Today is a good day to start the journey towards wholeness and healing. Today is a good day to begin to experience freedom that is found in forgiveness.